Time may take away the icons we grew up with, but it can never erase their legacy. Today, we remember the stars lost in recent days and honor a beloved legend who is quietly finding her way back to the light. They weren't just performers. They were part of our childhood. Join American Legends Tribute as we reflect on their final moments and the legacy that still lives on.
Why did you kiss me first?
I didn't think you'd let me later.
Valerie Perrine, the radiant and beloved actress who touched millions of hearts, has passed away at the age of 82. Her dear friend, Stacy Souther, shared the heartbreaking news. Valerie passed peacefully after a decade of living with Parkinson's disease and dementia. A journey she faced with quiet grace. Her path in Hollywood was extraordinary. She burst onto the screen in 1972. 2 years later, she earned an Oscar nomination for her powerful performance in Lenny. But for so many of us, she will always be Eve Teschmacher, the warm, witty, and unforgettable woman who made Superman feel a little more human. She was diagnosed in 2015. And yet, she never complained. She never gave up. She simply lived, with compassion, with dignity, and with a spirit that never dimmed. To everyone who knew her, she was a quiet lesson in strength. The world is a little less bright today, but her courage, her warmth, and her light, those will never leave us. Rest in peace, Valerie. You were one of a kind.
Ça fait longtemps qu'ils n'ont pas eu de relations physiques, etc.
Nathalie Baye, the radiant and beloved icon of French cinema who charmed the world with her natural grace, has sadly passed away at the age of 77. Her family confirmed the heartbreaking news through a moving statement, sharing that she passed away in Paris following a quiet, dignified battle with a neurological illness. A star for over 5 decades, Nathalie's journey began in 1973 with the classic Day for Night before her 1982 triumph in The Return of Martin Guerre. While she earned a record 4 César Awards in her homeland, American audiences deeply cherished her as Leonardo DiCaprio's mother in the 2002 hit Catch Me If You Can, proving her warmth and talent knew no borders. Behind her legendary smile, Nathalie was a woman of quiet courage. Originally trained as a professional dancer, she bravely walked away from the stage in the 1970s to reinvent herself as an actress. A bold move that required immense faith and grit. In her final years, she faced her health struggles with the same modesty she brought to her roles, choosing to keep her battle private to protect the beauty of her life's work. President Emmanuel Macron honored her as an artist with whom the world loved, dreamed, and grew. Rest in peace, Nathalie. The world of cinema feels a little colder without your gentle, eternal light.
Their eyes, and if you don't mind my saying.
Don Schlitz, the legendary songwriter who gave us the timeless lyrics of The Gambler, has tragically passed away at the age of 73. The Grand Ole Opry confirmed the heartbreaking news, sharing that Don passed away in a Nashville hospital following a sudden illness, leaving the music world in deep mourning. A boy from Durham, North Carolina, Don moved to Nashville with nothing but his gift for storytelling. In 1978, he wrote The Gambler for Kenny Rogers, a song that didn't just top the charts, it redefined a generation. From 1988 to 1991, he dominated the industry as the Songwriter of the Year 4 times in a row, penning masterpieces like Forever and Ever, Amen, and the soulful When You Say Nothing at All. Despite building the careers of icons like Randy Travis and the Judds, Don remained a man of profound humility. He spent decades away from the spotlight, preferring to let his guitar do the talking. In 2017, he was rightfully inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and in 2022, he received the rare honor of becoming an Opry member. He proved that you don't have to be the loudest voice in the room to have the most lasting impact on the world's heart. Survived by his devoted wife Stacy and his cherished children, Don leaves behind a legacy of songs that will be sung as long as there is music. Rest in peace, Don. You played your hand perfectly, and your music is now eternal.
I saw a cover, a magazine called Muscle and Fitness.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, a journey of unstoppable glory, a shattered home, and a quiet redemption. Where is he now? The man who once convinced the world he was forged from indestructible steel now depends on a small hidden pacemaker just to keep his heart beating. He built a body meant to conquer the universe, but no amount of iron could protect him from the consequences of his own choices. Do you remember the first time you sat in a dark theater in the 1980s, watching that relentless figure turn, stare, and say, "I'll be back," and feeling a chill run through your spine? For decades, he stood as the ultimate symbol of the American dream, conquering Hollywood, then rising to lead California. But behind the lights, behind the smile of the Governator, there was a silent war no one could see, and he was outrunning a congenital curse that would brutally drag him through 3 separate open-heart surgeries, all while hiding a shocking 14-year secret that would eventually detonate and destroy the 25-year marriage he once held dearest. Before we pull back the curtain on what he's truly been through, tell us this. As someone who lived through his golden era, on a scale of 1 to 10, just how unbreakable did Arnold really seem to you? Leave your number in the comments. By the end of this, that number is going to change. He didn't come from power. He came from the wreckage of it. Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger was born on July 30th, 1947, in the village of Thale, Austria. 2,000 people, no indoor plumbing, 2 years after the end of a war that had broken nearly everyone in it. His father, Gustav, was the local police chief. He was also a former member of the Nazi Party's paramilitary wing, a man who came home from the Eastern Front carrying things he would never put down: the bottle and his fists. His mother, Aurelia, was 23 years old when she married Gustav. She was the warmth in a house that had very little of it. She would stand at the wall of Arnold's bedroom, looking at the posters of muscled men he had pinned there, and cry. She called the family doctor. "All of your friends have pictures of girls," she told him. "Where did I go wrong?" She didn't understand, but she did not stop him. Arnold would call her every week for the rest of her life until she died in 1998. He never stopped needing that warmth. He just got very good at hiding it. There were 2 sons, Meinhard, the older, and Arnold, the younger. Gustav made no secret of his preference. He had an unfounded suspicion that Arnold was not his biological child, and so Meinhard was the favorite, the one who could do no wrong, while Arnold was the one who got hit. "My hair was pulled. I was hit with belts," Arnold said years later. "So was the kid next door. It was just the way it was." But Arnold did not break. He made a decision. "Every time I got hit, and every time someone said, 'You can't do this,' I said, 'This is not going to be for much longer. I want to be rich. I want to be somebody.'" When he was 17, he broke into the local gym on weekends to train when it was closed. He trained in a room with no heat. He trained until he couldn't see straight. Not because he loved it, because every hour inside that gym was 1 hour further from that house, and he had found what most people spend their whole lives looking for, something to turn pain into forward motion. The problem, as we will see, is that forward motion eventually runs out of road. His brother, Meinhard, the favorite, died at 24 in a drunk driving accident. Arnold did not attend the funeral. His father died a year later. Arnold did not attend that funeral either. His first serious girlfriend recalled that he announced his father's death without emotion and never once spoke of his brother. Not cold, armored. He came to America in 1968 with no English, no money, and no connections. By 20, he was Mr. Universe, the youngest in history. By 25, he was a millionaire from real estate, before a single film had been made. Then came The Terminator. James Cameron's 1984 science fiction film paid Arnold $75,000. The film earned $80 million worldwide. His line, "I'll be back," became the most quoted phrase of a generation. He earned approximately $13,200 for those 3 words. By the time Terminator 3 went into production, he negotiated one of the most actor-favorable contracts in Hollywood history. $29 million up front, plus 20% of gross profits. His total earnings from that one film eventually exceeded $100 million. His films have earned $5.5 billion worldwide. In 2003, he announced he was running for governor of California on The Tonight Show. Nobody laughed. He won. He served 2 terms. He declined his annual salary of $175,000. He did not need it. But power has its own accounting. During the 2003 campaign, 16 women came forward with accounts of inappropriate behavior. Arnold acknowledged publicly that he had behaved in ways that were not always right and apologized. He served his 2 terms and left office with an approval rating that had fallen from where it began. The budget problems that defined California when he took office had not been solved when he left. He could conquer almost anything, except consequence. And through all of it, he carried something nobody could see. In 1996, he had an affair with Mildred Baye, a housekeeper who had worked for his family for years. In 1997, a son was born. The boy was registered under Mildred's husband's name. Arnold noticed over the years that Joseph looked more and more like him. He knew, and then it became, as he later said, just a matter of how do you keep this quiet? He kept it quiet for 14 years. What he never said publicly, what most people still do not know, is that Joseph was born on October 2nd, 1997. His son, Christopher, Maria's son, was born 5 days earlier, September 27th. 2 boys, 2 mothers, the same man, the same month. In 2011, he and Maria Shriver were attending their weekly marriage counseling session. Yet the therapist turned to Arnold and asked if he had something he wanted to address. "I thought my heart stopped," he said. He told the truth. Maria Shriver was not simply a wife who had been betrayed. She was the niece of John F. Kennedy, a woman whose family name carried with it a century of public service, dignity, and expectation. She had given up a journalism career to support Arnold's political ambitions. She had lost her mother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and then her father, Sergeant Shriver, both within 2 years, and then, in that same season, she lost her marriage. She wrote about finding herself on a hotel room floor, in the dark, alone. "It broke my heart. It broke my spirit. It broke what was left of me." But she did not stay on that floor. She went to therapists, to healers. She spent time at a convent. She wrote a book. She rebuilt herself, not quietly, not in hiding, but in public, on her own terms, without asking anyone to wait for her. Arnold and Maria finalized their divorce in 2021, 10 years after the separation. They still spend Easter together, Mother's Day, Christmas, every birthday. "If there's an Oscar for how to handle divorce," Arnold said, "Maria and I should get it." 2 people who hurt each other and chose somehow to keep showing up for the family they had built. Joseph Baye was in 8th grade the day his mother came to pick him up from school early. He had grown up in a humble home with his mother and her family, knowing his Guatemalan roots, his mother's cooking, his neighborhood. He did not know his father. "We gotta go," his mother told him that day. "Everyone is finding out about you and who your father is." He was 13 years old. "Your body's transforming. Your mind is transforming," he said later. "And now my life transformed before my eyes." He kept his mother's last name, not Schwarzenegger, Baye. "I never had that name. I'm doing my own thing." He became an actor, a fitness model. a real estate agent. He began training with Arnold, who gave him the book he had co-written about bodybuilding. The same knowledge passed down. The only way Arnold knew how to say, "I see you. You are mine." "It took a little while for us to get really close," Joseph said. "I grew up with my mom and I was always nervous. I didn't want him to think badly of me." Now, he says, they talk about everything. Arnold wants to hear all of it. "Tell me the drama," he says. "Yeah, tell me about the girls." A father and a son learning each other late, finding in each other something that looks, just barely, like repair. In the weeks after the scandal broke, every film project Arnold had in development was put on hold. His management issued a statement. He was not willing to commit to any schedules or timelines. For the first time in 40 years, there was nothing to conquer, no gym to push through, no set to report to, no election to win, no title to chase, just a house in Los Angeles and the silence of a man who had spent his entire life moving, sitting still. The man who had escaped an Austrian village by never stopping, finally had to stop. He sat with what he had done. Maybe that is the only way some lessons arrive, not through discipline, not through ambition, but through the specific silence that comes after everything falls apart, when there is nothing left to conquer and nowhere left to run. When the only direction remaining is inward. Most of us will never lose what Arnold lost in 2011, but most of us know what it feels like to look at our own choices and find someone in them we never meant to become. The question Arnold had to answer in that silence, the same one most of us avoid our whole lives, is simply this. Now that you know, what do you do next? He had been born, all those years ago, with a hole in his heart, a bicuspid aortic valve, the same condition that had killed his mother and her mother before her. His mother had refused the surgery. Arnold did not. "I'm still here because of medical innovation," he said, "and because I listened to my doctors." He had 3 open-heart surgeries over the years. He woke up from the hardest one and said, with the absurd, yet unbreakable humor that is perhaps his truest self, "I'm back." In November 2024, at 77 years old, he had a pacemaker implanted. He announced it on his podcast the way only he could. "I had surgery to become a little bit more of a machine." He was born with a hole in his heart. He spent his entire life building the strongest body in the world, and still, the heart kept needing to be repaired. There is something in that worth sitting with. The strongest body, the most broken heart, both true. At the same time, in the same man. Arnold Schwarzenegger is still here, still training every morning, pacemaker and all. Still feeding the donkeys and the miniature horse named Whiskey who wander freely through his gym. Still laughing with his grandchildren for an hour or two, then handing them back. In 2025, he played Santa Claus, a tough action hero version of Santa, in a holiday film called The Man with the Bag. His son, Patrick, starred in White Lotus Season 3 on HBO that same year. When fans asked Arnold about Patrick's bold scenes, he posted on social media with characteristic humor. "The apple doesn't fall far from the tree." A father watching his son take creative risks, proud, unbothered, still himself. He has also become, at 77, one of the most vocal advocates for healthy aging in America, partnering with medical device company Zimmer Biomet, speaking at CEO summits about joint health and mobility for people over 50. His message is simple and very Arnold. If you stop movement, that is the first step to death. If you rest, you rust. The man who broke into a gym at 17 to escape his father's house is now telling an entire generation, people his own age, not to stop moving. His girlfriend, Heather Milligan, a physical therapist who fixed his shoulder in 2012 and never quite left, is still beside him. After his therapy ended, he called her for lunch to say thank you. And then, as he put it, one thing led to the next. He watched her call her grandmother every single night, at least half an hour, without fail. And that was the moment he said he truly understood who she was. He built his entire life to escape one kind of pain, and then he spent the rest of it realizing he could still create another. That is not a story about failure. That is a story about being human, and about how far a person can run, and how the thing they are running from has a way of waiting patiently at the finish line. Arnold Schwarzenegger did not become his father, but he came close enough to feel the resemblance. And that, more than any Oscar, any box office record, any election result, may be the most honest thing that has ever been said about him. Maybe the question his life leaves us with is not about him at all. Maybe it is about the patterns we inherit, the ones we swear we will never repeat. And the quiet, humbling moment when we realize we have to make that choice. Not once, but every single day. Leave Arnold a wish in the comments. A simple, "Health and strength, Arnold," is enough. He may never read everyone, but we believe that when enough hearts send the same wish into the world, somehow it finds its way. We're listening, and so we like to think as he
This is Ford, my bestest friend of all my friends.
Nicholas Brendon, the beloved actor who became the heart of a generation as the witty Xander Harris on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, has tragically passed away at the age of 54. His family and representative confirmed the heartbreaking news, sharing that Nicholas died peacefully in his sleep, finally finding the quiet rest he had sought through a life of immense challenges. From 1997 to 2003, Nicholas was the soul of Sunnydale, playing the lovable, everyday hero we all rooted for. He brought an authentic warmth to our screens for 7 seasons, later showcasing his artistic depth in the 2000 hit Psycho Beach Party and the acclaimed 2013 film Coherence. Behind the fame, Nicholas fought a valiant journey away from the spotlight. Following his television peak, he faced a long, public battle with addiction and health crises, including grueling spinal surgeries and heart issues in 2021. Yet, he chose to reinvent himself through the healing power of painting. He traded the camera for a canvas, spending his final years creating vibrant art that his family called the purest reflection of his sensitive and optimistic spirit. Remembered by his co-stars as a sweet friend who found peace in the stars, he leaves behind a legacy of resilience and creativity. Rest in peace, Nicholas. Your light and your art will never fade.
I will never, by the time anybody sees this.
Eric Dane, the charismatic and beloved actor, best known as the iconic Dr. Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy, has tragically passed away at the age of 53. His heartbroken family confirmed that Eric has found peace, following a quiet and incredibly valiant battle with ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. He spent his final moments surrounded by the love of his devoted wife and his 2 beautiful daughters. Since his unforgettable breakout in 2005, Eric's charm as McSteamy made millions fall in love with the halls of Seattle Grace. He continued to captivate us as the stoic captain in The Last Ship, and later showcased his profound acting depth in the hit series Euphoria. He was, quite simply, a performer of rare and complex talent. But Eric's most defining role began away from the spotlight. After his diagnosis in 2025, he chose not to retreat in silence. Instead, he reinvented his final chapter as a tireless advocate for the ALS community. He turned his personal tragedy into a beacon of hope, famously stating that he wanted to go out while helping someone. Remembered as a man of true integrity, he leaves behind a legacy of courage that will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, Eric. Your brave, beautiful spirit will live forever in our hearts.